The stars were silent, as they always had been. The galaxy, vast and full of secrets, seemed to hold its breath in anticipation. We, the Three Tsar, an ancient race of conquerors and scholars, had traveled for centuries through the reaches of space. Our empire stretched across star systems, a testament to our intellect and power. We had encountered countless species, some far older than us, others still in their infancy, yet none had intrigued us as much as the whispers of a race known as humans. Legends told of their mysterious origin show they were once an insignificant species on a small blue planet, lost among the cosmic void. Yet, those who had crossed paths with them spoke in hushed tones, almost reverently, about their potential. Their stories hinted at something more than just mere survival. They were a force capable of defying the odds, of overcoming challenges that should have been insurmountable. Some said they were an ancient weapon, hidden in plain sight, waiting for the right moment to awaken. For centuries, we had scoured the galaxy for any sign of these beings. Our missions were countless, each one ending in frustration. Humans had all but disappeared from the galactic stage, and those few that remained were scattered, living on the edges of known space. But a signal had recently emerged, a beacon, ancient and faint, originating from the depths of the Sol system. It was impossible to ignore. "Prepare for a jump," I said to my crew, my voice steady but my heart racing with anticipation. This was the moment we would uncover the truth behind the humans. The Three Tsar vessel, sleek and silent as a shadow, slipped into the fold of space. We arrived in the Sol system, orbiting a small, insignificant planet. It was there, below, that we would find them, or so we hoped. Our sensors picked up anomalies. Life forms, primitive but unmistakably sentient, walked across the planet's surface, and among them was a single, ancient human city. We had expected remnants, ruins perhaps, but this was different. The structure stood tall and proud, weathered by time but unmistakably advanced. And there, in the heart of this city, we felt it, a presence. I activated the scanning protocols. The data that began streaming in was impossible. The humans were not just a species of survivors. They had evolved into something far more dangerous, far more capable than anyone had realized. The genetic scans revealed something extraordinary. Their biology was unlike anything we had encountered before, a combination of resilience and adaptability that could rival the finest weapons in the galaxy. Their minds were sharp, their potential for creation and destruction immense. I turned to my second toe in command, Sailor. It seems the legends were true. Sailor, ever the pragmatist, raised an eyebrow. "You mean to say, these humans are the weapon we sought? They do not appear to be anything special." I shook my head. "They are more than that. Their strength isn't in their technology, nor their physical form. It's in their ability to adapt, to evolve, to overcome. They are a weapon, yes, only that cannot be replicated, one that can outlast empires." We disembarked from the ship, our cloaking devices engaged as we descended into the heart of the city. The humans were everywhere, living in harmony with their planet, completely unaware of the observers that now stalked their streets. They were a paradox, small, fragile, yet somehow, impossibly, they had survived everything the universe had thrown at them. As we moved through the city, I couldn't help but watch them. One human, a female, stood before a massive machine, her hand steady as she manipulated its controls. It was an ancient piece of technology, a relic from their distant past, yet she operated it with the ease of someone born to command it. Another human, an elderly male, worked with a group of young ones, teaching them how to harness the natural energy of their world to create tools and technology. They were rebuilding. From the ashes of their old world, they were constructing something new, something that could challenge any empire, any force in the galaxy. "We've underestimated them," Sailor muttered. "They are more than just survivors. They're builders, creators, and destroyers." And then it hit me. The humans were not a weapon in the traditional sense. They weren't a force designed for mass destruction or galactic conquest. They were something far more dangerous. They were a species capable of survival through sheer willpower and ingenuity. A species capable of bringing about their own renaissance, even after the most devastating of blows. We had come to discover an ancient weapon, but we had found something far more profound, a race that could not be easily destroyed. No matter the odds, they had survived through their history, their mistakes, and their struggles, and they were still growing, still evolving. The greatest weapon they possessed was not in their technology or their biology, but in their spirit. As we prepared to leave, I couldn't help but wonder what would happen if we ever truly faced them as enemies. The humans were not to be underestimated. They were a force that, once awakened, could reshape the future of the galaxy. We had come to discover a weapon. What we had found was far more terrifying. The humans were not a force to be reckoned with. They were a force that could never be defeated. HFY, our mission was to discover an ancient weapon known as Human Part 2. We departed the Sol system, our minds filled with more questions than answers. Our mission, which had started as a simple search for an ancient weapon, had turned into something far greater than we had anticipated. The humans, those fragile, unpredictable creatures, had revealed a power that was beyond any weapon or technology we had ever encountered. Back aboard the 3-star flagship, I sat all day in the quiet of the command chamber, replaying everything we had seen. The city, the people, their technology, all of it seemed so simple, yet so incredibly advanced. It wasn't just their survival instinct that made them powerful, it was their relentless will to move forward. No matter what had happened in the past, they had been beaten, left for dead, but they never stayed down. They rebuilt, they adapted, and they thrived. Commander, we've intercepted a new signal from the humans. Sailor's voice cut through the silence, breaking my thoughts. It appears to be a transmission, encrypted, coming from one of their remaining cities. Send it through, I said, a sense of urgency rising in my chest. The holographic screen flickered to life, revealing a series of complex symbols, patterns beyond the reach of most species. But after a few moments of careful analysis, the translation algorithms began to decode the message. It was a call to arms. We must prepare, I said quietly, my voice strained with the weight of the realization. They know we are here. The humans know that we have discovered them. Sailor's eyes narrowed. You're suggesting they're ready to fight us, after everything we've seen? I don't believe they're ready to fight, I replied, standing up and pacing, but they're certainly ready to survive. And in the end, that may be the most dangerous thing of all. We had underestimated them once. That would not happen again. The human response, back on Earth, a different kind of preparation was already underway. The humans, while seemingly unaware of the galaxy's vast expanse, had always known how to fight. Their history was filled with wars, with moments where the odds were stacked against them. Yet, every time, they had risen, often emerging stronger than before. It didn't matter that they lacked the technology or the ships of the 3-star. It didn't matter that they had no interstellar fleet or the advanced weaponry we possessed. What the humans had, and what no one had anticipated, was the ability to outthink and outlast. They had done it before, during their ancient wars on Earth, and they had done it again in the face of alien invasions, during the dark days when we thought they were nothing more than primitive beings. We can't underestimate them, Admiral McKenna said as she stood before her command center, looking out over the darkened Earth. We've always survived, and we'll do it again, but this time, we'll do it on our terms. Her command was clear. Humans weren't just going to survive, this time they were going to win. The unseen power of humanity, as the 3-star empire prepared its forces for what we believed would be a swift and decisive strike against this forgotten species. The humans were quietly working behind the scenes. It wasn't through military might, at least not yet. Instead, it was through something far more powerful, their minds. In the depths of Earth's most secretive laboratories, human scientists were rapidly studying the patterns of our ships, decoding 3-star technology, and reverse engineering our weaponry. They did not fear the unknown, they embraced it. With each passing day, they grew stronger, more capable. One particular project was of particular interest. A small group of humans, calling themselves the Resistance, had uncovered the truth about the 3-star deep knowledge of their species. Our scanning of their DNA, they had discovered that the true power of humanity wasn't just in their adaptability, it was in their potential to evolve beyond any limitations, to push themselves beyond any boundaries. The humans didn't need an advanced weapon, they had something better, the ability to innovate and outgrow their weaknesses. Their greatest asset was the idea that no matter the obstacle, they could always change, always find a new way forward. Their history, once marred by division and strife, had become their greatest teacher. Humanity learned not from the peace of stability, but from the chaos of their struggles. The first contact, when the 3-star fleet arrived in orbit above Earth, the humans were ready, not with weapons of mass destruction, but with something far more dangerous: understanding. The first contact didn't come with a full-scale battle, it came with a message, transmitted from Earth's largest and most secure communications hub, a signal encrypted with a complexity that no other species had ever been able to breach. The humans had learned much about the 3-star and had a message of their own. We are not your enemies, but we will fight to protect our world. The human race will not bow, we will not fall, and we will always rise, no matter the odds. It wasn't a threat, it was a declaration of survival, a declaration that humanity had discovered their true power, not just the ability to endure, but the ability to overcome, to adapt, and to outlast. In this galaxy of star systems and ancient species, the humans were the unknown variable, the wild card no one could predict. As the 3-star fleet hovered over Earth, the realization dawned upon us: this was no ordinary species. The weapon we had sought was not a tool of destruction, but a force of nature, a living paradox that defied all attempts to conquer it. And for the first time in centuries, the mighty 3-star empire hesitated. Humanity had no grand fleet, no overwhelming numbers, no perfect technology, but in the face of a superior force, they had something more, something we could never replicate. They had the will to never surrender. The war had escalated faster than anyone had predicted. The 3-star empire, which had once stood at the pinnacle of power, was now struggling to hold its ground against an enemy unlike any we had encountered. Every day, our fleets were pushed back further, and the humans, those strange, resourceful creatures, had begun to show their true colors. The stories of their survival against overwhelming odds were no longer just stories. They were a living, breathing testament to the indomitable will of a species that refused to bow. And I, Commander Vaxer, stood at the helm of a failing fleet, questioning everything I had ever known. A change in strategy. It had become clear that the 3-star's traditional methods, brute force, technological superiority, and overwhelming numbers were not enough to subdue the humans. For the first time in recorded history, we faced a foe that could think as fast as we could, that could adapt as rapidly as we did, and who refused to give up even when their chances seemed slim. Commander, Sailor said, his voice tight with frustration, the humans are turning the tide. We've lost 3 ships in the last week alone. They'd started using our own tactics against us. They're too quick, too clever. Their technology, they're reverse engineering our systems faster than we can respond. We've underestimated them. I stared out of the viewport, watching the distant stars twinkle like cold, indifferent eyes. They are not just surviving, Sailor. They are evolving in real time. Every move we make, they counter it with something new. They're learning from our mistakes faster than we can adapt. And I fear they will only get stronger. Sailor's expression darkened. We cannot allow this to continue. The very foundation of the 3-star empire is at stake. Indeed, I said, but we have miscalculated. This war isn't about who has the bigger fleet, the better weapons. It's about who can endure, who can outlast. And for the first time, I fear that may not be us. The humanity we didn't see. On Earth, humanity had been forced to unite as never before. What had started as isolated pockets of resistance had grown into a global effort, fueled by every human on the planet. Governments had put aside their differences, pooling their resources, not just to defend their world, but to strike back at the invaders. The human response was nothing short of miraculous. Not only had they deciphered the 3-star's technology, but they had begun to reverse engineer it at an astonishing rate. The humans had launched their own spacecraft, smaller but far more agile than any 3-star ship, using Earth's limited resources. They had no grand space stations, no colossal fleets, but what they did have was creativity and an unyielding spirit. Admiral McKay watched as her warships, craft hastily constructed, with scavenged 3-star tech hurtled through space, attacking with precision and speed. The humans won, winning through raw strength. They were winning through persistence, through outthinking their invaders at every turn. We can do this, McKenna said to her crew. We just need to keep evolving, keep learning. They want to conquer us, but they don't understand. The more they push us, the stronger we become. Humanity will not fall. We will never fall. The battles had become less about sheer firepower and more about resourcefulness. Earth scientists had developed new weapons, using alien tech, Earth's natural resources, and human ingenuity. Every day, new countermeasures emerged, new ways to disable the three Tsars' ships, new tactics to use their size and strength against them, and most dangerous of all, the humans had begun to push the boundaries of their own evolution. They were no longer just fighting to survive, they were fighting to win. A dangerous revelation. As the war dragged on, I began to see it. There was something in the way the humans adapted, something in the way they fought. It was subtle at first, easy to overlook, but then it became clear. The humans weren't just responding to the war, they were anticipating the next move before we even made it. They had somehow gained access to an intelligence network that allowed them to predict our strategies with frightening accuracy. They were using our own tactics against us, turning our advantages into liabilities. And that was just the beginning. The humans had discovered something more than technology. They had tapped into something primal, something deep within their biology. We had always thought that the weapon we sought in humanity was a product of their physical strength, their cunning, or their technology. We had failed to realize that the true weapon was their capacity for growth. They had discovered the ability to alter their biology, to augment their physical and mental capabilities. They weren't just using alien technology, they were evolving themselves in response to the threat. They had become something more than the sum of their parts, and we had no idea how far they would go. The final decision, on the eve of what would become the most critical battle of the war, I stood alone on the observation deck, looking out into the vastness of space. My fleet had suffered heavy losses, and though we had not yet been defeated, the tide had turned in favor of the humans. Every day, they grew stronger. Every day, they adapted faster than we could keep up. We must consider peace, I said aloud, more to myself than to anyone else. The humans, they are not like any species we've faced before. They are not just fighting for survival, they are fighting for something greater. And in their struggle, they're becoming something even we cannot predict. Sailor appeared beside me, his face grim. You're suggesting we surrender? No, I said, turning to face him. I'm suggesting that we stop fighting them and start understanding them. The Three-Tsar Empire was built on the idea of control, of domination, of superiority. But these humans, they are not a species to be controlled. They are a force of nature, and no empire can dominate a force of nature. We may be too late, Sailor muttered. Perhaps, I agreed, but perhaps it is time to learn from them, rather than conquer them. There's something we missed, something we failed to understand. The humans aren't just a weapon to be used, they are the future.